Today we're working on page number 82 and we're working on centimetres, metres and kilometres, so we're not concerning ourselves with millimetres for the moment, but we're working with centimetres, metres and kilometres. And at the top of the page it gives you some handy hints. So 1 metre is equal to 100 centimetres. So that's how many centimetres is in a metre, like a metre stick we have in the class. 10 centimetres is equal to 1/10 of a metre. Okay, now what you must remember is that every kilometre has 1,000 metres in it. So there's 10 millimetres in a centimetre. A metre has 100 centimetres. And a kilometre has 1,000 metres, and that's really important for this page. So at number 1 it says write as metres. So how would you write 2 centimetres as metre? Well, what you would do is remember that every metre has 100 centimetres in it. So you will have to write it as a decimal because it's quite a small unit. And you won't go to the tenths part of the decimal. Rather, you'll go to the hundredths part. So it will become 0.02. Just like up here, 1 centimetres is 1 out of 100 in a metre, and it becomes 0.01. Here I have some examples. 3 centimetres. 3 centimetres means it's 3 out of 100 when it's changing into metres. So 3 over 100 is the fraction. Simply because there's 100 centimetres in a metre, so then there's 3 out of 100 there in the metre. So it's 3 out of 100. And when you're to write it as a decimal, it's 0. Nothing in the tenths and 3 in the hundredths space. Now when you're talking about a little larger, 46 centimetres, almost half a metre, there is something in the tenths. This, the 4. Then in the hundredths, there's a 6. So it's a piece of a metre, 0. And there's 4 tenths in the form of 40 centimetres. And there's 6 hundredths in the form, well, they're millimetres as well, but 0.46. That's in the tenths and that's in the hundredths. Now 365 centimetres, that's larger. So that's larger than a metre. So there's a few metres in that, and it's 3, because there's 3 hundredths. Then to convert it to a decimal, to call it metres, you've got 6 tenths and then 5 in the hundredths. Okay. So then for number 2 it says write as centimetres. 0.3 of a metre. How many centimetres is that? So 0.3. Of course, there's 3 tenths, so it's 30 centimetres. 0.7, there's 7 tenths in the metre, so it's 70 centimetres. 0.9, there's 9 tenths out of the metre. 9 tenths out of the metre, so that's 90 centimetres. Here it's larger, 3.8 metres. So it's over the 100, it's 380 centimetres. Because you see 3 metres is 300. Then there's 0.8, which makes it 80 centimetres. Now here's a little one, 0.14 metres. There isn't a full metre in that, but there is a tenth, and there isn't a hundredth, and that gives us 14 centimetres. Now at number 3, you will notice that they show in centimetres, in metres, and in metres and centimetres. So that can get confusing, and I've done an example out here for you. So what you need to do is to transfer everything into the same type of unit. So I've chosen to transfer them all into decimals. So 4 metres, 4 point, all the knots. Put in all the knots there to accommodate the rest here. 437 centimetres, there's no metre, 0.437. And here there is a metre, 3.48 and a 0 to accommodate the rest. So that's 7, 11, 9, and 7 metres. So that's your answer there for question number 3. Again, question number 3, they've done similar in the subtraction. 921 centimetres minus 528 metres. You can change it all into metres, in which case it will be 9.21 metres minus 5.28 metres, and do the sum then as you normally would do a subtraction. 11 minus 2 is 9, 8 minus 5 is 3. Okay, similarly down here it's multiplication, and it wants you to answer in metres, so you're best to transfer it into decimal place metres. 3 9s is 27, 2 9s is 18, 19, 20, 3 9s, 27, 28, 29. Now here we've got 2 numbers behind the decimal, so put 2 numbers behind the decimal there. Okay, then moving along, question number 5 wants you to convert 2 meters into a kilometre. So we know that there's 1,000 meters in a kilometre, so 2 meters is a very small part, and it will be 0.002 km. So in this case it will be 0.003 kilometres, because that's the tenths box, that's the hundredths box, and that's the thousandths box. This one will be 0.005, 0.012, because you're dealing with meters. There's 1,000 meters in a kilometre, meters out of kilometres, and in this case it is less than a kilometre, and it's 0.674. At question 6 you're asked to write as meters. So the first one, A, 0.002 kilometres, will become 2 meters because it's in the thousands. There it is. And in this case it'll be 9. In this case it'll be 23. This case it'll be 157. I hope that makes sense for you. Please send me a message if it's too tricky or if you need extra help. Talk soon, bye.